allow me to refer you to my review of Assassin's Creed 3 for a moment.
Despite the simplicity of this game element, I must say that if Ubisoft pursued making a full-blown pirate or privateer game on this engine, I would be first in line to buy it.
I love it when I'm right. Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to not only my review of Assassin's Creed 4, but also my 3rd year anniversary review. And what a great game to look at for just such an occasion. But what's that? You wonder why I feel that this game is great? Well then, I suppose it's time to dive to the briny depths of Davy Jones' locker and plunder the treasure that is this title. Okay, that's the last of the pirate jokes, I swear. This game starts off like every other Assassin's Creed title, in present day. Whoopee. This storyline is a continuation of the multiplayer story from Assassin's Creed 3, and you take on the role of a new player tester for Abstergo Entertainment as you gather memories from history to make more realistic games for them. This storyline is so important to the narrative that you don't even find out if your character is male or female. There are new plot threads introduced and abandoned as soon as they begin, and by the end of it there are a ton of unanswered questions not only left over from the previous title but also graciously added by this tacked on frivolous addition to this game. So anyway, on to the pirates. This time around, you take on the persona of Edward Kenway. Edward is a privateer turned pirate, and unlike the other characters in this series, he doesn't much care for the affairs of the Brotherhood and the Templars. In fact, he discovers them completely by accident, and by the time he's made aware of the current dastardly plan of the Templar Order, he proceeds to shrug it off and concerns himself with trying to make a fortune. You know, like a pirate. The main campaign spans 13 chapters total and will probably take somewhere around 12-ish hours. This, however, is mostly a guess on my part as it took me quite a while to get around to even finishing the story. Why is this? Well, that's due to the massive expansive nature of this title. Once you manage to get yourself a ship, you are free to sail about the West Indies to your heart's content. This area is massive and spans from Florida to Cuba to Jamaica, and in a few instances you even get to sail to Africa. While sailing, you can explore islands, dive the depths of the ocean for hidden treasure, carry out assassination contracts, take over forts, go harpooning for deadly prey, and of course, attack and board any and all sailing vessels that happen to be unlucky enough to be in your way. It has been said by the developers of this title that there will be over 80 hours of gameplay between the main campaign and the side quests, and honestly, that seems fairly accurate. Moving on to the multiplayer mode, well, there's honestly not much new about this element. The game modes are mostly the same, with you either stalking individual opponents, stalking opponents as a team, or holding territories. Plus, there is the addition of new character skins and some more perks with which to work. Although, there is a new addition which allows you to create your own game mode and share it with the community online. As a whole, it's largely unchanged from Assassin's Creed 3. So, in short, if you like the multiplayer in that game, you'll probably like the multiplayer in this one. Now for the actual reviewing. The graphics in this title are mouth-wateringly gorgeous. From the white sand to the crystal clear cyan waters, you can rest assured that you are in for some pure beauty shown through the nature of this game. But even the character models have a fantastic amount of detail in not only their faces, but also in their clothing and the weapons they carry. Plus, during naval battles, you get to see chunks of wood and iron flying off ships when damage is done. Now that is what I call attention to detail. Moving right along to the gameplay, this aspect for the most part works without a hitch. Basic navigation in respects to both sailing and free running works perfectly fine, apart from occasional instances in which Edward doesn't feel like climbing any higher despite being in the line of fire from musketeers. The combat also works fairly smoothly, with you having to use various tactics against different styles of enemies, which gets pretty tough when you're surrounded. However, there are quite a few instances in which I could run at full sprint behind an enemy and they wouldn't hear me coming. Or I could assassinate someone clearly within earshot of another foe, and again, nothing would happen. Now, it's entirely possible that this has been the case in the other AC titles and I just hadn't really noticed it till now, But either way, it's a bit odd to have such obvious exploits in a game that heavily encourages stealth. But, as for the storyline, well, you've already heard my rant about the present day debacle in this one. But in all seriousness, I feel that Edward has not only my favorite narrative out of all of the assassins, but he also shows some amazing character development and growth. As previously mentioned, he doesn't much care for the secret war waging between the two factions, as he's mostly concerned about himself and his fortune. Now, when I was playing the game, I knew that he would eventually side with the Brotherhood, but what I didn't expect was the path that would lead him to this decision. In the span of the 7-year campaign, you slowly see Edward change his demeanor and entire attitude towards his style of life. And as time goes by, you can see the emotional toll that this lifestyle has taken on him. Now, I'll not go too far into detail to avoid any major spoilers, but take my word for it. By the end of this campaign, if you can become immersed into this experience and not shed manly tears upon its conclusion, then my hat is off to you. So, in conclusion, I would absolutely recommend this title if you're a fan of the Assassin's Creed series, or if you just want to check out a pirate game. Now, I know some of you may be turned off due to the very disjointed and rather bizarre side story to the plot, and in all honesty, I can't blame you. But I know that I can say with certainty that it's a pirate's life for me. Thanks for watching, everyone, and before I go, I think it's only right that for the third time, I once again reminisce over what I've learned in this year of gaming. Well, first off, I've learned that the Pikmin series is one of the most beautiful, yet at the same time, dark series of games I've ever played. Although it may sound quite absurd, this tale about a barren bird, it helps me to speak well in rhyme, as it's a great game of our time. I'm more scared of getting ripped off than I am of necromorphs. I may have been the #1 pilot, but all glory is fleeting. Snakes are a great part of any balanced breakfast. Reality is what you make it. Clones are people too. War is hell, and war never changes. Grand Theft Auto is actually one of the least atrocious crimes one can commit. Pirates really get a bad rap. And of course, once again, I am the hero of time, hero of Twilight, and hero of the winds. Now in HD. Thanks once again for watching, everyone, and here's to another year of eDog reviews. So until we meet again, this is eDog saying, I love you all, good night, and good luck.